Familiar circuit, an unforgiving stage, and the championship picture tightening. Welcome to Montreal, where concrete walls greet mistakes with zero patience and the long straights dare every driver to believe they brake just a fraction too late. It's fast, it's punishing, and it's a way of exposing the brave just as quickly as it humbles the bold. In Pro, the story takes a sharp turn. Racine Fazui, the hometown hero, is absent for his home race. His seat sits empty, his points gap vulnerable, and the rest of the class can smell opportunity. At the front of that charge, Alex Ellis, who drives the momentum, confidence, and a chance to stretch his advantage, while the reigning powerhouse is forced to watch from afar. In AM, Sebastian Day will be looking to extend his lead with Jesse Lambert and Jacob Attar fighting hard. Consistency is currency at Montreal, and every mistake carries interest. Those who survived Silverstone and Mexico know exactly what awaits. Inches from the wall, millimeters from disaster, and a championship still in its infancy, but already demanding composure. Two classes, one goal, and the ultimate prize still looming at season's end, a real-world radical test drive that turns sim races into storylines. The curbs are ready to bite, the wall of champions is waiting, and round 3 promises to write a chapter no one saw coming. This is the BiS Radical Cup Canada Winter Series, and round 3 fires to life at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me today in the production booth is the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner, and at the production controls, the one and only Mr. Christian Hill.
Hey Zippy, it's good to see you once again, and good to be online for this next round of Radical Cup Canada. Honestly, this series has gone off this season. It's been one of the most insanely competitive, at least behind Racine Fazui, but as you mentioned, he is not here for his home race. So let's see who can narrow that points gap, because we've got a lot of drivers wanting to claim that title.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly, I've got to say a 45-car grid is what we're looking at tonight. And I did see a new name here to BiS sneak in. I think, Reese, you should do the honors in announcing exactly who that is. But all I can tell you is that I recognize this young gentleman. They are indeed potent already. I know of this person. They have that much clout, ladies and gentlemen. Reese, tell us, who have we got joining us today?
We have Maya D'Honorine, who is currently racing in GB4 and also has a podium in the Real Radical Cup North America Series. So awesome to see this guy who's only 16 years old joining the grid, and I'll be interested to see how he does. But before we go into more detail about that, we should take a look at the track we are racing at today. It's a track that you should all be familiar with. Montreal gives you 14 corners, but every single one carries the weight of history, pressure, and peril. Welcome to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the lap that begins with that classic charge down the pit straight, foot flat, engine howling, and every driver eyeing up the braking boards for turn 1, a left-hander that teases you into overcommitting. Nail it though, and you sweep immediately into turn 2, the long opening right that loves to punish the greedy and reward the patient. From there, it's a blast up towards turns 3 and 4, the first of Montreal's many chicanes. Brush too much curb and you're skating, brush too little and you're slow. It's a precise geometric exercise masquerading as a high-speed corner. Turns 6 and 7, another chicane where rhythm matters more than bravery. Carry speed, tidy the exit, and set yourself up for the back straight. Then comes the run to turns 8 and 9, perhaps the most delicate chicane of them all. A big curb on the left, a big wall on the right, and just a sliver of track in between. Get that wrong and the lap is gone. The drivers then thunder down toward turn 10, L'Épingle, the hairpin, the slowest point on the lap and the most emotionally charged. Thousands of fans packed into the grandstand, waiting to see who brakes latest, who dares widest, and who finds the traction on exit to launch themselves back onto the casino straight. And finally, the pièce de résistance, the legendary turns 13 and 14, the final chicane. High risk, high reward. Attack the curbs like they owe you money, straighten the wheel, and pray you don't meet the wall of champions, that unforgiving icon waiting to scribble a name off the entry list. It's a circuit that rewards commitment, punishes hesitation, and produces drama like no other. Tight walls, big curbs, heavy braking. Montreal is motorsport in its purest form, Zippy. It's a perfect arena for round 3.
Oh, absolutely is, Reese. Let's take a quick look here. At the schedule, we start at Silverstone before we headed over to Mexico City, with Montreal being round 3. Round 4, however, will take us over to Italy, ladies and gentlemen, for Monza, with round 5 a personal favourite of mine, actually 2 of them in a row here, for Watkins Glen GP, followed by Donington Park, the Grand Prix layout on both, ladies and gentlemen. Round 7, Interlagos, before heading off to the BiS home track of Mosport.
A beautiful schedule indeed, and going to some real greatest hits of tracks, including the debut of Mexico City for round 2, which was an incredibly exciting round. Let's see what the rest of the season has to bring as we kick it off here at Montreal, and take a look at what's on the cards for tonight. The event details, we have, of course, the sprint race and the feature race. It is a 2-race format for this series. Sprint race should go for about 10 laps, and the feature will be about 20 laps long, with a top 10 grid invert for race number 2. So it's the stakes are certainly going to be high, and we can't forget, Zippy, the drivers are going to need fuel for the feature race. They'll need to make a pit stop.
Absolutely, certainly, yeah, there's definitely more strategy than just outright track position, Reese. But let's take a look here at the points as well. Obviously, we've got the Pro, we've got the AM, and not surprisingly, ladies and gentlemen, I believe Racine Pasui is going to be at the top of the Pro. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, but only by 6 points. Certainly, Alex Ellis has an opportunity here with Jamie LeVay, about 20 points. Well, hang on a second here. Zippy Maps not doing good. 18 points behind, ladies and gentlemen, 24 off the lead. Marshall Crocker Jr. there, last year's AM champion, in the top 4. But as we have a look over to the AM Championship as well, ladies and gentlemen, right now Sebastian Day got it. I say that he's got it by about 13 points, ladies and gentlemen, and doing very well overall, with Jesse Lambert closely behind, and indeed Jacob Batar getting in there. Cedric O'Hine actually ahead of Lima Racing. He's there in P5 as well. Mark Boyd from Auto Eclectic Motorsport making an appearance as well. What an absolute belter, an absolutely phenomenal grid here. As we look at the team, Lima Racing Pro is absolutely on it with 2430 Motorsports having a good battle there, with MTC Motorsports rounding out your team championship podium.
Indeed, and with that, it is time to go through the grid. They've already done qualifying and they're ready for the first race. So let's have a look at who's lining up where. Oh my goodness gracious me, I think I need a bit more coffee there. Well, Andrew Hardman is going to start on pole position with Ryan Otto alongside him. Clay Morris and Cara Dudgeon on row 2. An excellent qualifying performance from Cara Dudgeon there, with Arnaud Jeunesse starting P5 alongside Alex Ellis. Jarrett Dunkovic and Diego Zuccarelli are 7th and 8th. Maya Dionorine on series debut is going to start in 9th, with Jacob Batta alongside him to round out the top 10. Assad Nakadam-Bev and Sebastian Day on row number 6. Buchanan and Lambert on row number 7. Kenton Young and Marshall Crocker Jr. round out your first 8 rows of the grid. Rich Hibbs, John Benvalid, Michael Broomhead and Maxime Armand round out the top 20 of our 45 cars getting ready to take to the start, and they are already rolling away. We may not have time to go through the entirety of the grid, but I'll do my best here. Scarali and Gautier on row 11. Ohayon and Boyd on row number 12. Jean-Francois Larocque and Tyler Manning, 25th and 26th. Then Brady Clapham, Sammy Hendricks, Robert Covey and Mauricio Parada to round out your top 30. Then it's Chad Payton, Alex Tagliani lining up 32nd, with Ian Carney and Stephen Sutherland behind. Abby Shrivastava and Keenan Blades, 35th and 36th. Jonathan Bacazin, John Painter, Rick Boyd and Sloan Sterling rounding out your top 40. And then we have Paul Casamaja, Yona or Albert, Matthew Mailman, Wyatt Cormier and Ovidiu Milos rounding out our field. Mailman, Cormier and Milos did not take to the track in qualifying. So let's get things going, Zippy. They're already almost to the final couple of corners. Time to get the green flag.
Absolutely, it's going to be an absolute belter. Certainly, I had the pleasure of driving here on the sim, literally this week, ladies and gentlemen, albeit in a different set of machinery. It was in a spec race before, but right now you can already see they're starting to try and get away there, and very quickly they'll be trying to get down into single file. Well, Andrew Hardman leading the front of the charge right now. We've got to say, fair play to Cara Dudgeon. Absolutely unbelievable result there. I'll say unbelievable, incredible result there. The Young Academy winner up there, starting on P4. I'm absolutely blown away, but right now, this is just the beginning of a very, very long journey. It's Diego Zuccarelli looking to try and make some moves there alongside Jared Dunkovic.
Yes, indeed. Here we go then to the twisties. It's pretty much single file up the front of the field, but there's plenty of racing going on further back. Jared Dunkovic holding off Diego Zuccarelli and Maya Dionorine, and behind them, side by side, between Nicard Bev and Bata, they almost made contact for those positions just outside the top 10. This is going to be quite the interesting race indeed, as Nicard Bev is going to hold off those behind and off the track. Unfortunately, going one of the cars there. I couldn't quite catch who, but looks like chaos is starting to reign already.
Looks like Ryan Otto may have gotten involved in that as well. Sebastian J and Matthew Mayo, multiple casualties there right now, but you can see there that I believe is Clay Morris, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed in the number 48, but right behind him is going to be Alex Ellis and Arno Gonez fighting it out. We've seen these guys before, both of them very formidable in a radical. It looks like Ellis is now to get it done, at least for now. I don't think the battle is over. Cara Dutchin in the 305, right there behind in 5th place, as already they're starting to pull away from the rest of the pack, but right now Andrew Harmon absolutely able to capitalize on this opportunity and has pulled a 1.5 second lead in the first lap.
There's been a big coming together out of the hairpin, unfortunately. A stricken car of Maxime Armand, and looks like Mailman there picking his way through the remains of that incident there. Armand was stricken by the side of the track, and Chad Payton had to avoid him. That caused a massive crash, also involving Ian Carney. So that was all the way at the back of the field. A lot of drivers with issues and coming into the pits.
Yeah, if I have a look at the restaurant counter, ladies and gentlemen, by that I mean the meatball flags. I do see 5 drivers rocking, and Maxime Armand, Keenan Blades, Chad Payton, Michael Broomhead, and indeed Yona or Albert. All of these drivers are rocking a meatball flag right now. That basically means they have mechanical repairs that must be done to the vehicle. But right now, I've got to say, Harmon is able to absolutely capitalize on this battle. Clay Morris is leading the second pack. He's got himself, Alex Ellis, and Arnold Ganes right behind him. Slight gap there to Cara Dutchin, who's now going to have Yari Junkovic pouring absolutely down the neck move. Yeah, Maya Dionorine right there applying the pressure as well.
Yeah, Maya's having a good start at the moment. Not a bad run for his first race in this series. He's got his fellow... okay, that's the move for second there. Clay Morris moves past, and that is way off there for Arno Ganest. He is going to have to serve a slowdown from that one. The slowdowns are brutal at Montreal. And let's see if he can actually hold off Cara Dudgeon and Jarrett Dunkovic. Dionorine is right there with them. They're 2x2 into turn 2, and Dionorine taking the fastest lap.
I've got to say, absolutely fantastic stuff here. As you see, almost contact there. He's getting a little bit close, but fair play. Cara Dutchin has been able to hold on, but right now, contact, ricochet, chaos, panic, and disorder, ladies and gentlemen. Thankfully, the 3-1-2 are able to keep rolling.
Yeah, but Assad Nikadenbev was the one who hit him, and it looks like damage is pretty heavy for Assad. He was working very nicely up through into the top 10, but the right front is destroyed there for young Assad, and it looks like he's going to have to make his way right back to the pits. No mechanical black flag to his name from what I can see, but yeah, that's just... Oh yeah, he does. He does have a mechanical black flag. My apologies. That just sucks for Assad. He couldn't really avoid that.
Yeah, definitely no. It is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, if you do happen to have that situation in the real world, boom, is contact Rob Burgess, ladies and gentlemen, from Radical Canada. He will be happy to sell you some spares.
Yeah, unfortunately Assad will be left wanting coming into the pit lane. This is his view of things. So there was the spin for Ganest, and yeah, Assad had a car right in front of him. It was really difficult to determine what was going on. He reacted as quickly as he could. Well, we'll move back up to the battle for the top 5 now. Maya Dionorine makes the pass on Cara Dudgeon around the outside at turn 1, and it looks like Jared Dunkovic is going to try and follow him through.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, and I got to say, I'm incredibly impressed by Cara's performance, even though I've raced her. No, I've not raced her. I've seen her race, and don't get me wrong, in the academy, she stood out by a country mile, ladies and gentlemen, but in a field of about 50 cars, this is quite the achievement. BIS is without a doubt a tough league to race in, and that is a sheer compliment to all of the drivers here. Like, the strength of field has got to be somewhere well over 3,000, and even at a young age, she's absolutely mixing up there in the top 10. incredibly impressed. And this is an academy driver I would like to see getting an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, that's not what's going to be on the cards. She's going to have to battle out in pro as right behind her, Jacob Patar, who's currently in AM class, looking to apply a little bit of pressure, make the way up into P6.
Indeed. So away we go into the hairpin. And it looks like things are starting to close up for the lead as well. Clay Morris is right on the back of Andrew Hardman in the slipstream. And now we shall see him actually lift off in a straight line. He's not going immediately for the move. So we'll see that battle for the lead continue on for a while. D'Honorine making his way to the front of this pack for P4. And now under more pressure from Jarrett Dunkovic. Oh, there's a problem further behind. Looks like Ryan Otto collecting the Wall of Champions.
Well, definitely not going to be the only driver who's going to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly it is very easily done here, but it looks like Kara Dudgeon's still able to hold on, as right now it is indeed Maya D'Honorine who is leading this pack in that 244 car on his BIS debut. Ladies and gentlemen, iRacing of about 2,000. I have a feeling they're definitely a little bit more potent than that, but right now it's going to be more and more pressure. Jarrett Chunkovich right behind, 2,500. Kara Dudgeon, 1,474. I got to say, the tops, well, from about P4 down to P7, all the iRacing is not what you would expect, ladies and gentlemen. As we look back, Ryan Otto definitely had a few issues today. He's 4,500, and yet despite that, is back in P12.
Yes, so looks like Otto's been able to actually make good from that incident. We're keeping our eyes on this fight as D'Honorine and Dunkovic have traded positions here for P4, and Dudgeon gets a dive from Jacob Batta. And then the cut back underneath. It looks like Dudgeon won't be able to respond, but that's Zuccarelli that's just pulled off there and was flashing in the view. Looks like Zuccarelli had a bit of an issue out of the hairpin. It's quite difficult to get the power down out of there, especially with this turbo engine that the Radical SR10 uses. Dudgeon a little bit deep there in the final chicane. She's going to lose time from that as Dunkovic, D'Honorine and Batta start to streak away. Quickest car on track for the moment is Alex Ellis, who has closed up the fight for the top three. Clay Morris caught up to Andrew Hardman. Now it's Ellis's turn to get things going at the front.
Yeah, if we have a look here at the lead battle, I have a feeling that Clay Morris is going to be keen to get to the top step of that podium. Don't get me wrong, Alex Ellis is definitely no slouch either. He's going to try and take full advantage of Racine Vasui being away, and certainly I know I would as well, ladies and gentlemen, as we get to that battle in just a few short moments. Further back in the field, I can see Avery Shrivastava and Matt Gauthier and indeed Rick Boyd getting into a fight as well.
Yes, indeed. So, coming out onto this back stretch, Zach Buchanan, who's trying his best to work further into the top 10, getting a bit harassed by Ryan Otto, who's trying his best to keep himself in the fight after his little bit of contact with the Wall of Champions. That's a slowdown for someone there. It looks like Keenan Blades, who's unfortunately off the lead lap at the moment. Into the hairpin, and defensive from Zuccarelli to keep Kenton Young behind. Sebastian Day, our AM class points leader, making the move on John Benvalid there into the hairpin. Side by side now between Otto and Buchanan as Alex Ellis and Clay Morris now take the top two positions. Oh no, my God! Oh dear. Your guess is as good as mine, Zippy. That looked interesting.
Well, you can see Mark Boyd was ahead of him as lap traffic, and right now Zach Buchanan, you see, is absolutely, he's definitely not feeling his best, but don't get me wrong, this is another previous winner, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly he will be happy to remind us that for his run, he got absolutely drenched. But don't get me wrong, whether it's rain, dry, you got to say yes to saying to a drive in a Radical. Certainly myself got to go have a go in that car, but Ryan Otto, I can tell you, has had another incident, has indeed picked up a meatball flag.
Yeah, that's a real shame for him. It's very easy to lose time at Montreal and get slowdowns, hit the walls, you need to repair your damage. In the short sprint race here to start off the night, that can be disastrous. Buchanan is sticking with it though, and will make sure that he can get to the end. All right, let's take a look at how the lead changed, because Andrew Hardman managed to get into that P1 position and hold on to it for a while, but Clay Morris was able to make the move, and this is how it was done. A nice run out of the chicane there for Hardman, as there was a slight slide for Hardman, actually. Nice exit for Morris, I should have said. And Alex Ellis was able to make it by as well. Hardman trying his best to hold on to P2, but it just looks like that his exits weren't as good as he would like. And out of the hairpin, under traction, Alex Ellis was able to do it, and in fact Ellis himself was able to take the lead.
Well, fair play to him, as Alex Ellis has indeed got to the top step of that podium, and at least for now, ladies and gentlemen, how long can he hold on to it? This is a real GT4 driver, ladies and gentlemen, and understandably why. The man is absolutely blisteringly quick behind the wheel of a race car, and indeed in this case a radical SR10. But as we return to the live pictures, it looks like Clay Morris is actually there in P2 right now.
This is still a replay. This is still a replay. This is how Ellis got the lead from Morris. So into turn one, nice run out of the final chicane, and through as well, I wouldn't say as easy as you like into turn one, but managed to get it done. And they are still fighting. There was a little bit of traffic that they came across there on the way out of the chicane, and that has brought them together once more. So it is on between Alex Ellis and Clay Morris for the win.
Yeah, this is definitely a clash of the Titans, and indeed you see the slipstream coming into play there as a 48 is going to be on the outside line as they head towards the final chicane, and indeed have to try and go through the wall of champions. We saw an incident here last lap round. Are we going to see two cars go too wide? Absolutely not. But certainly one technique I did find is if you can force the opposing driver to take that inside line, they will often end up going and bailing out and getting a slowdown. Don't get me wrong, questionable tactics, but I mean, it's racing after all, ladies and gentlemen, and if they have to go to the slip road, well, that's kind of on them.
Well, let's see what pace can be brought up here as Morris tries his best to ride these curbs. It's so difficult to get the curbs right around here as we find our way around this rather difficult circuit. You got to slow down a lot more than you think for that left-hander as well. Traction incredibly important on the exit, and it's easy to hit the wall on the exit too, but these leaders keeping it nice and clean for the moment. Bit of lap traffic ahead of them in former Chad Payton. Got to wonder how much drama that will throw into it.
Absolutely, and certainly it's going to be some interesting battles throughout. Having a look through the grid here, the hard charger right now is actually Alex Tagliano. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who that is, he is a previous, and I believe the only Canadian pole sitter for the Indy, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, he came down to Atlantic Motorsport Park not that long ago as well. As you can see here, had a little bit of a refresh right now, but right now Alex Ellis is leading the charge, albeit for how long? Oh, a wiggle there! As Clay Morris looking to try and make his way up to the top step.
Oh, that's not ideal. We'll have to see side by side through the chicane work out nicely for the both of them, but that's given a big chance to Andrew Hardman, who's going to slipstream behind them as the leaders continue to go side by side. It's white flag, the final lap of race one, and to the front goes Clay Morris once again. A sterling defense from Alex Ellis. How is this battle going to work out? This three-way fight for victory.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, Clay Morris is in the lead, but we've got to ask ourselves at Montreal, when is the best place to try and make that strategic passes? Right now, Alex Ellis is going to be keen to get to the top step of that podium. He's got to make the most of Racine Fazuri being away, as right now there is nothing but opportunity ahead. But Clay Morris is going to have something to say about that in the number 48 car. He does work with Radical Canada. He's going to be keen to win in his home car, I guess you could say, ladies and gentlemen. But right there, there's lap traffic getting involved as well, and Hartman's going to get held up a little bit. As Clay Morris, you see that a little bit damage on the left rear side pod as well.
Yep, damage is always a factor in these races. They push hard, they rub panels as it's side by side into the hairpin. You got to get on the exit nice and early. And Alex Ellis on the outside is able to do that. Slightly better run out of the corner, but when it comes to the slipstream, a little bit snatched there for Clay Morrison. Slight contact for Alex Ellis, who takes to the grass to try and take the lead. This is going to be an incredibly interesting finish. The dive from Ellis at the chicane. They come together. Morrison set off the track, and Alex Ellis, they both got to slow down. They both got to slow down. Andrew Hardman's going to go through to win. Oh my God. How on earth?
That is better than getting 7 nuggets in a 6-nugget box. Absolute jackpot there for Andrew Hartman. Don't get me wrong, it was can we watch that again? That was an absolutely admirable effort from Alex Ellis. Certainly Paul Casamajor there, a little bit of lap traffic, kind of honestly must have felt like it was like Roadrunner being chased by a coyote at that point, but we got to see a replay of that. That was intense.
That was insane. But we and also move of the race as well. We got to pick a move of the race this season, and that's pretty easy, honestly. Andrew Hardman, we appear to have caught up the wrong bit of footage here, but we'll see. This is insane. Yep. So the issue here is the run out of the chicane. You know, if you push too hard and go side by side, you can easily run off, you can hit the wall. Both of our leaders did that, and Andrew Hardman said, okay, fine, I don't have any penalty to my name. I can still put the foot to the floor through the middle of our 2 leaders to get the lead back mere meters from the line. That's crazy.
Oh, absolute jackpot here. This is what I really want to see is Ellis taken to the grass again. That's what I'm really hoping for. But I'm surprised Ellis got a slowdown out of that. But don't get me wrong, Andrew Hartman just goes and splits it down the middle and goes, "Thank you very much." But absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I don't believe Ellis got a slowdown necessarily. He just got a ridiculous bit of contact with the outside wall, and I think that slowed him up. But maybe he got the slowdown at the first apex of the chicane. I'm not entirely sure. But, okay. Let's go through our results then. So we'll find our way through to the second race. Yeah. Just a repeat of race 1. So Hardman ultimately taking victory as Alex Ellis and Clay Morris finished 2nd and 3rd, with Jared Dunkovich up to P4. Excellent job there. Maya Dionorine with a brilliant drive from 9th to 5th on his series debut. Jacob Batter started 10th and finishes 6th. Jesse Lambert, Marshall Crocker Jr. making their way up from 14th and 16th respectively. Cara Dudgeon falling back a bit. And Kenton Young rounding out the top 10. He's going to have pole position for race 2.
Definitely a jackpot there. As we have a look there at P11, it's going to be Sebastian J with John Bemberlip in P12. Zachary Buchanan able to hold on and take 13th with former rival Diego Zuccarelli in 14th. Tyler Manning mixing it up here with the pros. He's there in 15th with Brian Otto. Definitely need to have a little bit of a cooler race from him next round. He's there in P16 with Alex Tagliani, real world legend, ladies and gentlemen, there in P17. Brady Clapham, another man who's talented behind the wheel of a radical. He's there in P18 with Assad Nakadenbev in 19th. And not only that, Sammy Hendricks rounding out your top 20.
Hendricks gaining 8 positions there, Nakadenbev losing 8. Mauricio Parada gaining 9 places to 21st. Jean-Francois Larocque up 3 spots to 22nd. Cedric O'Hyan finishes where he started. I believe the only car in the field to do so. Abby Shrivastava started 35th and made his way up to 24th, with Matt Gauthier, Jonathan Picazin, Rick Boyd, Robert Covey, and Maxime Armand rounding out the top 29. Stephen Sutherland making it 30.
As we look here, P31 was Chad Payton with John Payton in 32nd. Keenan Blades falling back to 33rd with Paul Casamajor right behind in 34th. Rich Hibbs, he definitely had pace today. Not quite sure what happened, but he was there in 35th with Tyler Scarelli in 36th. Yona or Albert, my apologies there, in 37th with Sloan Sterling in 38th. Arno Goodness, we saw a very brutal little upset for that car. 312 having a major moment there in 39th with Matthew Mailman closing out your top 40.
And finally, Ian Carney retiring, with Mark Boyd and Michael Broomhead also not making it to the end of the race. Wyatt Cormier and Ovidio Milos did not take to the start, though they both were present in practice. I wonder if we're going to see them for the second race. Well, Zippy, I think now we turn our attention forward to race 2 and also to the prize that these drivers are fighting for. Of course, a real-world radical test drive, thanks to Lima Racing, is on the cards for our series winner.
Oh, absolutely, and without a doubt, the best-looking radical race car I've ever seen, and even better, ladies and gentlemen, it's got Pit Road Production stickers on it. Absolutely, I think they've even got BiS on one of them as well. Who wouldn't want to drive that? That's better than a poster, ladies and gentlemen. Like, posters are cool. Driving the real thing is a whole other level. So a huge thanks to Lima Racing for that, and indeed for the support over the years as well. A huge thanks to FEL as well for being one of the sponsors involved in this series. I've got to say, if you're watching, ladies and gentlemen, hit the subscribe button, not just on Pit Road Productions, but on FEL Motorsports as well, handling your racing needs. But I got to say, Reese, I got a feeling we're going to be in for a treat. Don't get me wrong, Ellis is a racer out and out, but taking to the grass to try and make the move and try and hold that line, you know, some people would frown upon it. Myself, yeah, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the run that this series has had this season has been incredible, and in the preseason as well, getting so many incredible drivers in from the sim and the real worlds, the support coming in from FEL Motorsports, the real world organizers of the Radical Cup Canada, and also Dakin's Design as well coming on board and creating the default livery for this series, which is quite a slick paint scheme indeed. Many great supporters of this championship that you know, we wouldn't be here without them. And yeah, I think now it's on to race 2, where we'll see our top 10 inverted and see if Andrew Hardman can make it 2 from 2. He's certainly been able to take advantage just by being a bit more careful.
I gotta admit, that is the jammiest race win I think we've ever seen in BiS history. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was like the parting of the Red Sea. Absolutely incredible. And by all means, I have a feeling he's going to be giggling about that one for a little while. But I gotta say, there's some interesting names we're seeing here today. Certainly, Maya has definitely shown he is potent in the sim as well as the real world. We've got Kara as well, a Radical Academy champion, definitely showing that she is not afraid to mix it up with the rest of the field. Incredible stuff. But in the AMP battle as well, you know, we've seen a couple of names starting to be frequent there. Jacob Patar, Sebastian Day. These guys are starting to make a point of being up at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, we'll see if they can get any closer to the top of it, as it looks like the grid is ready for the second of our races here today. 20 laps on the cards, or a maximum of 35 minutes, whichever comes first. Here is the grid. Starting from pole position, Kenton Young, who managed to grab the top 10. And Kara Dudgeon will start alongside him on the front row. Marshall Crocker Jr., who was the AM champion last season, moving up to pro. Going to start alongside Jesse Lambert on row number 2. Jacob Batter and Maya Dionorine rounding out your top 6 there, with Jarrett Dunkovic and Clay Morris on row number 4. The top 10 rounded out by Alex Ellis and our race 1 winner, Andrew Hardman.
Let's have a look here. In P11, we're going to have Sebastian Day with John Bemberlid alongside in 12th. Moving back one more row, ladies and gentlemen, Zach Buchanan alongside former rival Diego Zuccarelli. These guys are both BiS regulars. Tyler Manning, he takes 15th with Ryan Otto in 16th. Further back, stick. Funny. With Alex Tagliani there alongside Brady Clapham. Now, these guys have been wheel to wheel in real life, and indeed they're going to do it again here in BiS. With Assad Descartes and Bev right behind alongside Sammy Hendricks, rounding out your top 20.
In 21st place, we will have Mauricio Parada, JF LaRoque starting alongside Cedric O'Hyan and Abby Shrivastava on the 12th row, with Matt Gauthier and Jonathan Piquet in 25th and 26th. Rick Boyd and Robert Covey start on row number 14, and Covey didn't make much advances in race 1. He'll be wanting a bit more from this, with Maxime Armand and Stephen Sutherland rounding out your top 30.
Let's have a look there. P31 is going to be Chad Payton alongside John Painter. Look at that absolutely beautiful paint there. That's Dakin's Designs yet again, ladies and gentlemen, with Keenan Blades in 33rd alongside Paul Casamaggio for Lima Racing Rookies. Rich Hibbs takes 35th with Tyler Scrally for BiS alongside in 36th. Moving a little bit further back, we've got Yona or Albert. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize, my kryptonite, alongside Sloan Sterling in 38th. And closing out your top 40, we've got Arno Ganes alongside Matthew Mailman.
And finally, Ian Carney, and Mark Boyd and Michael Broomhead will round out the final few spots of your field. Cormier and Milos still not in the session, so we won't be seeing them here today. It's a shame, because looks like they were putting in some alright times in practice. Well, let's see then what Kenton Young can do from the top of this field here. Cara Dudgeon as well, who had great qualifying pace, but got outraced a little bit by those around her in race 1.
Yeah, definitely there's an opportunity here. Carry on, Reese, as you were, sir.
Meanwhile, we're looking at John Painter here. Painter, of course, hailing from Australia, but races in the real world in the Radical Cup Canada, and the paint that he is running is an adaptation of his real world livery. It's always awesome to see the sim and real world crossover, which I guess is the point of BiS in the first place.
Absolutely, and certainly we've seen a couple of drivers here who have had the opportunity of driving a real-life race car. Indeed, March Croc Jr., Zachary Buchanan, Ozzy Mill Wayne, and let me think here further back, we go to 1600s, we also got Mark McDonald just off the top of my head. But ladies and gentlemen, this race is underway, and Kenton Young in the 75 is looking to pull away. Cara Dudgeon going high in pursuit with him as Marshall Crocker Jr. maybe sleeping at the start slightly, as right now Jesse Lambert makes a move on the inside, and that's contact already in turn 1. Crocker Jr. slides absolute pandemonium here, multiple chaos, tucked to the inside line and try and get away.
Oh, Jesse Lambert with a big dive at turn 1, ultimately causing a huge pile up there as Crocker was stuck on the circuit in the middle of turn 1. Alex Ellis unfortunately clobbered him there, and it looks like Andrew Hardman, Sebastian Day and Zach Buchanan were all involved in it as well, our top runners from race 1. Buchanan, I think, got the best of that. He managed to move his way up to P7 and has very little in the way of damage. So, let's see what more chaos is brought here as they make their way around lap 1, just up ahead of Zach Buchanan. In the slipstream of Jacob Batta, make his way past him and potentially Jarrett Dunkovic at the hairpin, hard on the brakes, and Buchanan is on a charge. But Clay Morris has managed to find his way through to 3rd, and he's already looking to make up that time on Kenton Young and Cara Dudgeon.
It's definitely going to be a good opportunity here for Clay Morris here. Certainly Cara Dudgeon is going to have some pressure very shortly, but right now I've got to say there's some drivers moving very heavily through the field. Matt Gauthier is one of them. He's up there in P14, all the way started in P25. Currently the hard charger in the field. Saying that, looks like Arnold Ganes has already made it up 11 positions as well. Dear, that is not what we wanted to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I take zero credit for that. It's getting a little bit loose there on the exit of the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, Gautier, it looks like, ran a bit deep, and I suppose he was trying to serve the slowdown, but the car got unstable on him, and round he went. That's unfortunate, but he's managed to get it going again without involving anybody else, which is good to see. He's fallen all the way back to P19. There's racing going on everywhere you care to look. This is the fight for P8. There's Jarrett Dunkovic and Jacob Batta, P6. Batta trying to hold off Dunkovic with Ryan Otto, Jesse Lambert and John Benvalid all a part of this fight. And they're almost 3 wide on the way in. That's a huge dive from Ryan Otto. Ends up forcing Jacob Batta off the track. That's going to be a slowdown for the number 111. And Dunkovic will try his best to take advantage. Jesse Lambert and John Benvalid trying their best to take advantage as well. Don't forget, Lambert is the one who ended up causing that turn 1 incident there. I'm surprised that he's been able to hold on to a good position in spite of all that. P8.
Yeah, certainly this is going to be one of the things that the stewards will potentially have to review afterwards. We'll see exactly what happens. Certainly the BiS stewarding committee under a little bit of review. Not us personally, but more so having to put out a little bit of a memo this week, who are just trying to get a couple of drivers to cool it down a little bit, as that is not the move you want to make through there. That's going to be a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of the iRacing stewards there for the number 89 of Jarrett Dunkovic.
And Jacob Batters had a spin at the final chicane as well. It's another case of someone running deep at the chicane, trying to get on the power, but apparently the tarmac off the circuit is not as grippy as you would like. Meanwhile, pass for P2. Clay Morris has found his way past Cara Dudgeon, and Maya Dionorine, who has plenty of real-world experience under his belt, of course, has raced in Radical Cup North America and is also currently competing in the GB4 Championship, is right on the back of our Radical Academy driver here, on board with Maya, and it would appear he's struggling to find an advantage in the middle part of the circuit, but all it takes is the right power application out of this chicane and you'll be on the attack for the hairpin. Side by side through the hairpin can work, and the outside line works as well, but it's the inside that Maya goes for. Just enough room up the inside to get the move done. Dudgeon will give him room and stay strong on the exit, but Maya Dionorine is through into third. Now they'll both continue making their way forward to Morris and Young up ahead.
One thing I'm starting to observe is, don't get me wrong, Cara's got fantastic pace, but definitely does not seem to be quite as aggressive there. So don't get me wrong, I've seen a defensive line come out, and then, you know, Maya decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it. But I do have to wonder if Cara maybe needs to turn up the aggression just a little bit there. Because don't get me wrong, she's got pace, but I've yet to see her really try and force the pass from out. Try and force a pass more so on the defensive and outright pace. And don't get me wrong, she's keeping it clean, she's having good results, but I do want to see her push that little bit harder.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. Well, speaking of pushing hard, I think we should have a look at who are the big gainers and losers so far out of these first few laps of the race. Michael Broomhead is our hard charger, up to 23rd now and up 20 places from his starting spot. Of course, he retired from race 1, did our BiS League owner. Evidently some contact in the opening laps, putting him by the wayside. We have a bunch of drivers up multiple positions here. Oh, okay. Little doink there in the background as Tyler Scurali, a teammate to Broomhead, battling with Keenan Blades. Some very nice liveries here on the Britannia iSports machines. We have Arnaud Genest up 18 positions, Richard Hibbs up 15 places, Scurali up 12, Mark Boyd up 16, Maxime Armand up 13 places, Cedric O'Hyan, Assad Nakata-Bev and Ryan Otto are all up 10 places, and well, those are just the drivers that have made up double digits. There's loads of other drivers that have made up a total of less than 10 places, but still fantastic runs through the field for multiple drivers, including Alex Tagliani, who's managed to find his way into P11 and looks to be on the back of Jarrett Dunkovic. Maya Dionorine, meanwhile, takes the fastest lap. Beautiful livery from Rich Hibbs. I do love the green and orange scheme. Always like seeing some schemes that we don't always see out there. And we'll see what Hibbs can do from here. As a bit, as he has a bit of something to do ahead.
Speaking of Richard Hibbs, certainly we've actually got a one-off show happening this Sunday. It's going to be iRacing Control end of year enduro, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be 3-hour endurance at VIR. So certainly, if you want to check that out, that's going to be happening sometime around 8 o'clock Sunday night Eastern. So 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday night. So you're definitely going to be a good bit of fun there for a 3-hour endurance. And Richard Hibbs being the developer of iRacing Control. Certainly, if you want to see something that may help your league, indeed, yeah, definitely check that out. And by all means, tune in on Sunday. We'll be able to show you a little bit more about it.
Indeed. Well, we'll see this battle continue in the meantime. Rich Hibbs has Marshall Crocker Jr. up ahead of him, as well as Abhi Shrivastava, and it looks like Crocker has a poor run of straight line and speed there. He is going to defend into the hairpin. This league is so competitive as Arnaud Genest now makes himself a part of the battle. No matter where you are in the field, there is someone to race with. There's so many cars and everyone's so close on pace. It's a fixed setup series in the Radical SR10. The only thing you can adjust is the brake bias. So it's all down to the driver. And to the front of the fight for P17 goes Richard Hibbs. Arnaud Genest moving past Abhi Shrivastava. And Crocker, Batter and Gautier will now have to fight amongst themselves.
I got to hand it to him. See, he's not just talented programmer, he's also a pretty good driver. I've got to give it to him. But Arno Guinness is definitely going to be keen to find his way up to the front of the pack, ladies and gentlemen. He is definitely a man who's been on the podium here at BiS before, but right now I'm seeing a potential catastrophe unfolding in the works. For a second there, I thought they're going to try and go 3 wide through that chicane, but thankfully these drivers are able to get it back into single file as the action does indeed continue. But let's take a look here at P4, ladies and gentlemen, as Cara Dudgeon now under attack from number 40 of Zach Buchanan. Both of these former BiS champions, or indeed former Radical champions, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Radical Academy versus BiS. I believe it was, yeah, he was Radical AM championship for BiS last season.
Yeah, no, it was all okay. It looks like Maxime Armand off track in the background as we keep our eyes peeled on Buchanan and Dudgeon. Yes, Buchanan was an AM champion, but I think a couple of seasons ago, last season's AM champion was Marshall Crocker. So we'll see what Buchanan can do from here. Now holding on to P4 very nicely, and Dudgeon will try her best to hitch a rope to the back of that Radical and keep things going. Let's keep an eye out a little further back here as Maxime Armand now loses the position to Mauricio Parada. And Maxime, he's getting into the spirit of the season, isn't he?
Well, I gotta say, in his defense, now this is definitely going to upset some people, and I can get away with it. Just stay on the bus to the next stop. But if he was wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, we would know he would never expect to win anything.
Okay.
I'm British, and I know that the Leafs suck. Like, that's how talented they are as a hockey team, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Maxime Armand, evidently. There we go. Maxime had the same reaction I did. Exact same reaction I did. Oh, dear. Well, that's going to be a free spot for Maxime there, and he'll move up into P15. You can really see how much the curbs shake him in his rig there. They are brutal curbs here at Montreal. Moving further up the field, we'll see the fight for the lead. Kenton Young now within striking distance from Clay Morris and Maya Dionnery. And it looks like they'll have some lapped traffic ahead of them to keep an eye out for. The Lima car of Jonathan Piquezin. We'll see him go wide, and that's a bit wide there for Kenton Young as well. Clay Morris sneaks up the inside and will take the lead into the first chicane.
Yeah, definitely Clay Morris, incredibly potent driver, ladies and gentlemen, rocking about 4,200 I rating. But indeed, Kenton Young, no slouch here with 31.68 indeed. But I gotta say, Maya is absolutely applying the pressure. That real world experience certainly coming into play. And don't get me wrong, first time I've seen him in a Radical SR10 is definitely going to be somebody to keep an eye on, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, the lead battle, you got a real world racing driver in there, a real world engineer, and indeed a sim racer as well. Unless somebody can tell me a bit more about Kenton Young. But it is indeed going to be an absolutely incredible battle, but we still have 12 laps left to go.
Yeah, and a pit stop, don't forget. We've already had a few drivers make their way into the pits, but likely for damage. Was very close through the hairpin once again. Another bit of lap traffic could put a spanner in the works up ahead. Sloane Sterling, who unfortunately had to take some time out of the race to repair some damage, is back out there, and we'll be looking in the mirrors to see the leaders coming up very quickly indeed. Out of the Wall of Champions section, it would appear that Kenton Young didn't get as good of an exit as Maya Dionnery, and it'll be side by side across the line. And the move is made for the 244 as Sterling goes for a spin ahead of them. Fortunately off the circuit in time for our leaders to come up.
Yeah, definitely not the pit entrance, that's the pit exit, but fair play, beautiful bit of parallel parking there. As Clay Morris has indeed got that lead, and the lap traffic is going to play a part of it. But what I can tell you is something that's happened to Zachary Buchanan. He's in the number 40 car, and I have a feeling that he was right up near Cara Dudgeon, but I'm not seeing any replay just yet. So we're going to have to keep in mind and see what happens there as lap traffic there very graciously getting out of the way of our race leaders.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a shame to see Buchanan out. We'll have to see exactly what happened to him at some point. A little bit of a wall tap on the way out of the chicane there, and well, now we're going to take an opportunity to have a look at exactly what happened to Zach Buchanan, who is one of our top competitors here. Certainly pushes hard, but has had a very rough night, Zippy.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a quick look at the replay. I gotta say that beautiful, almost like a zebra print livery there. You can see going side by side there with Dudgeon as they're heading down towards the right hand of the number 40 there, getting into the braking zone. Too wide through there, and yep, no, they got away with it. And lost some traction. Ryan Otto making an evasive move there, and oh dear.
No.
And the Carden Bev and John Bemblin absolutely devouring that number 40 car.
That is 2 races in a row now that Assad Nakardambev has had a car splayed across the circuit in front of him with very little time to react. See, yeah, man, from his perspective, he would have hoped that Buchanan would stay still, but I mean, sometimes autopilot takes over and you think, I need to get going as quickly as possible, not realizing that there are cars coming up on you. I mean, yeah, Buchanan shouldn't really have moved there. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. See, I expected a lot better from Zach on that scenario. Don't get me wrong, he's a seasoned racer, but a learning experience, and hopefully, you know, Assad can, you know, move on from this round. Certainly, we know that young lad also very, very potent indeed. I gotta say, we've got some good young racers here that are all, I admit, way quicker than me, but we got a position change for P2, ladies and gentlemen. As I say that, yeah, okay, he's good. He's back. I thought he lost connection for a second there. Woo, too close.
Yeah. Maya Dionorine with a slight technical problem. Looks like Clay Morris is starting to jet away from these two. Maya will need to pull out all the stops to keep himself in the fight for the lead. On a bit of a recovery is Alex Ellis, who was on the podium in race 1, and it would appear that he is up to P21 now, as Clay Morris will set the fastest lap once more. 1 minute 30.7. As into the pits comes Cara Dudgeon, one of the first from our top 10 to do it. Ryan Otto and Jesse Lambert getting into the pits about a lap ago.
We're going to return to this absolutely massive battle here. Rich Hibbs leading the charge, but right behind him is the 111 car, Jacob Patar. He's been keen to try and make some moves here in BiS so far, but Ryan Otto as well. Definitely one of the more aggressive drivers in the series. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy a little bit of aggression behind the wheel, but don't get me... I feel he's maybe got the dial turned a little bit too high, and certainly he's paid the price for it. But right now, you can see that Ryan Otto trying to make a move there on Jacob Patar, gets it done, and goes, thank you very much. I think I'll try and take a piece out of Rich Hibbs next as well.
Yeah, a little bit too late on the brakes for the chicane, though, and loses some time to Hibbs in the process. But considering the pace that Ryan Otto has had today, I'm sure that he'll be able to at least get onto the back of Hibbs. It's a really impressive run up through the field from Rich. 28 positions gained. That is the most in the field thus far. Of course, half the field has been through the pits, so that figure may ultimately change. Side by side up ahead, as it looks like Maya Dionorine is the first of our leaders to make his way into the pits.
Yeah, certainly myself, if I was going for lap traffic, I would definitely think about making that early pit stop. Certainly, not only that, in this kind of scenario as well, having a clean space to go for a pit is definitely advantageous. Will I pit right now? Yep, that is exactly what the number 23 is very much thinking, as JF LaRock brings it down pit road.
Yeah, joined by Jacob Batter and Brady Clapham. Pit stops are looking quite quick here. Around about 8 seconds or so is what you can expect from a fast stop. Maya Dionorine's stop 9.7 seconds. LaRock will see him. It's actually quite a long stop there, about 11, 12 seconds or so. He does come out just ahead of the 923, and I believe that is a lapped car of Jonathan Picazin. And not too far behind Jacob Batter, who had a slightly longer stop. So that's how things work out in the midfield. They come out right in the middle of a very intense fight. Marshall Crocker, who was through the pits 4 laps ago, making the move on Batter to get back up into P60.
Definitely, we got some battles going on under there. JF LaRock, they see straight out of pit road, and definitely not the view he was hoping for. 5 cars ahead. Don't get me wrong, the draft does help you try and get away here, but he's going to have his hands very much full. Don't get me wrong, in the AM Championship, he's very much on his own a little bit where he is right now. Certainly Zuccarelli ahead, but Jacob Batar just a little bit further. It's too wide through the chicane, and that's not going to work out well for Zuccarelli, as it looks like he's going to see an opportunity here. I see a little bit of dust kicked up, as indeed more fights happening. He's got to be careful, gets right up behind, got to be so careful in the braking zone. And Zuccarelli there, quick to defend, and that's a lockup from John Painter.
My goodness, and they're going to move past him there. Wow, fantastic fighting. And I'm amazed that they all got out of that cleanly. Montreal is a temporary circuit. It is built as a permanent installation, but it's not used for racing all year. The walls are close at all times, and you need to keep an eye out for them. Otherwise, they will ruin your race. It's a very obvious factor to the racing here. As our last few pit stops from the midfield are complete, Matt Gauthier and Abby Shrivastava coming through the lane. It just leaves Stephen Sutherland, Richard Hibbs, and our top 3 up the front of the field yet to make their way into the lane. Robert Covey and Paul Casamajor, I believe, have yet to come into the pits as well from further down in the field. We're just about cleansed as Clay Morris makes it into the lane.
Certainly, it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the front, but why we got the camera on the driver of the number 77 car. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brady Clapham. He is a real-world racing driver, and certainly he's one that you'll actually be quite familiar with Reese, because his coach is the one and only Mr. Connor Bell, ladies and gentlemen, who you will know from the Almeida Racing Academy.
Yes, indeed. Connor Bell recently starting his NASCAR Canada career and winning on debut and putting on a great performance at Calabogie earlier this year, which was fantastic to see. Certainly a good coach to have, and Brady Clapham has certainly shown that it's working for him. Up into P10 at the moment and looking to gain a couple more spots as Jarrett Dunkovic and Richard Hibbs are making their way through pit lane at the moment. Clapham's going to bring it a little closer. Meanwhile, Cara Dudgeon, it would appear, is coming under some pressure in the fight with Jesse Lambert for P6. Looking very interesting at the moment. Dudgeon's defensive game will be tested.
Absolutely, the defensive game has been pretty decent so far. The offensive, not so much. Definitely an area of improvement there, but consistency has been great for the Radical Academy driver. Certainly incredible performance so far, but Jesse Lambert definitely very aggressive at the start there, and we're going to have to see if they can keep things in check. And certainly for sure, when you're in P7 into a 40-plus car grid, you got to weigh up the risk versus reward. Don't get me wrong, cold tires can be a huge benefactor at the start. You got to keep it in mind, but right now, just how hard is he going to push to try and move his way up into P6?
Yeah, that is the question. Both Dudgeon and Lambert are down from where they started. The usual suspects from the front of the field in race 1 have made their way through on them. So we'll see if they can make any further gains here in the last 6 laps or so. Morris has managed to keep the lead from Mighty Honorine, leads by 6 seconds. Let's go a bit further back in the field, though. I would say that Diego Zuccarelli has cause to celebrate here, because he can finally make an appearance on our driver cam feed. We've had issues making his camera work for previous broadcasts, but finally we get to see Diego Zuccarelli in all his glory, and he'll be finding his way into the pits, and that will be the 2nd time that he's had to make his way in. Evidently some issues there for the number 26.
Definitely unfortunate timing, but fair play to the guy. He's making it down pit road, and he's probably lasting a bit longer than I would here at Montreal. But good to see Diego there on the camera, and I've got to be honest, I'm checking out the Lego model on his bookshelf behind. I think he can hear us now. He's smiling. Diego, give us a wave if you can indeed hear us. He's thinking about it.
Well, makes his way out of pit lane. He's looking for drivers coming up on his right here because the pit lane, the pit exit, spits you out right on the outside of turn 2. And there he is now with Abhi Shrivastava for position. They need to keep an eye out for lap traffic in and around them. When you're in this area of the field this late in the race, it's so difficult to actually maximize your pace because you're coming up on a lapped car every few corners.
Yeah, and there we go.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right, we have a move of the race. Can we make that it for the next one?
Yeah. Oh, we got to think about a move of the race for this race. Well, Zuccarelli. Yeah, that was pretty good. Good pass from Diego Zuccarelli on the way out of the chicane. So let's keep an eye out for what further he can do. Brady Clapham and Rich Hibbs, meanwhile, trading spots for P8. Looks like Clapham has managed to keep himself in P8 for the moment, but Hibbs is on the attack. And we'll see what more he can do here as up the inside at turn 1, he'll get P8.
Certainly, I'm in a little bit of a conflicting situation here because I do indeed love Relievement Racing, but Rich Hibbs, it's not quite bronze, but it is pretty close, John. Rocking some gold wheels, which anybody who's watched Pit Road Productions before knows I have a soft spot for it, despite never getting hanging in real life on my car. It's on a mission, ladies and gentlemen, but right now, I've got to say, Rich Hibbs, he's definitely got some pace. This fella is shifting today up an incredible 27 positions. Don't get me wrong, Broomhead's matched that. But Rich Hibbs is currently in P8. That is definitely nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, that's a crazy run up through the field from Hibbs. Don't forget he qualified 17th for race 1. Yes, 17th, and ultimately retired from the first race. Actually, no, not retiring. He had to spend some time in the pits for damage. But he's certainly made good on that. And has worked his way back into the top 10 for race 2.
Yeah, defensive there from Jesse Lambert. He's very much, don't get me wrong, I mean, it was clean, but I don't think Rich Hibbs was quite expecting it. Certainly Lambert is keen to fight right back in the slipstream. Are we going to see an incident here in this final chicane? He's got a teammate right behind, and that is indeed Brady Clapham, as these two Lima Racing drivers now not quite able to hold it up to Rich Hibbs, as Rich Hibbs now on the attack, trying to get away, but fair play to Lima. They've got an incredible turnout of team drivers here, as Hibbs is absolutely on it and moves his way up to P7, but you've got to ask, is he going to be able to catch up to Carl Dodge and indeed make another move here as the 99 makes its way out of pit lane?
Indeed, that number 99 being specifically, I can't find a 99 on the timing. Ah, John Painter, indeed. Yes,
Recognize
Painter. Having a couple of problems there. Having to get some extra repairs done. Battle for P2, meanwhile, that's wide for Maya Dionerine. And through will go Ryan Otto, but Maya's going to translate it into one hell of an exit. Look at the run that he got out of the hairpin. And he's going to be in the slipstream all the way down the Casino Straight. This fight for P2 going to be going on for quite some time, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly Ryan Otto is very, very aggressive here at BIS. But don't get me wrong, Maya, I've got to be honest, I've been really impressed with his racecraft and indeed the pace today as well. Very cool, very calm, and very collected. I'd enjoy having a chat with the guy just to see how he's managed to keep his composure in such a demanding athletic environment. But certainly right now, applying all of the pressure here to the back of the number 153. This is a good opportunity for Otto. He could secure some points. It's definitely not the race result he wanted at the in the first race, but the second one is looking to come set for a podium and to be able to take home some fantastic points.
Yeah, this being a fixed setup series, sometimes the car just doesn't cooperate with you. Yes, indeed. Very sneaky indeed. And looks like that's going to be a move for Jacob Batter there, keeping Cedric O'Hyan behind into the first turn. This is the fight for P11 with Maxime Armand. Unfortunately spinning through turn 2, he gets back going. There's a gap just enough to get back up to speed. Unfortunately, now he's going to have to deal with Alex Ellis and Michael Broomhead as Ellis sees the move up the inside. Oh, takes great advantage. Broomhead at full speed has to back out of it a little bit as Maxime continues his recovery. So that's unfortunately about 4 or 5 positions lost now for Maxime Armand, but he's still up 13 places from where he started. Nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, Okay, I'm hoping that's lap traffic there. Yeah, that must be lap traffic, as certainly Broomhead has managed to make his way ahead. But the big question, ladies and gentlemen, he has not managed to take over the hard charger award. That's still being held by Richard Hibbs with 28 positions gained. As we're going to return to that lead battle here, ladies and gentlemen, as Mayer is still applying a healthy amount of pressure here to the back of Ryan Otto with just 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Maya Dionorine has certainly shown that he can fit in amongst the regulars here. First time we've seen him in this championship, one of many real-world races that compete in this field, and a fair job getting a 5th place in race 1 and looking at a podium here in race 2. It seems here in the short term Ryan Otto has been able to keep him at bay, but these two are pushing as hard as they possibly can, and they're only going to have 1 lap to go when they cross the line next, so it's on.
Certainly, I'm thinking strategically. If I was Maya, I would be sitting right in the slipstream here of Ryan Otto and just trying to make a move on the slipstream, heading down to that final chicane on the final lap. I think I would just keep applying as much pressure as I can, try and force Otto into a mistake, and just capitalize there on that. But right now, Ryan Otto able to pull away and taking the slipstream from lap traffic ahead.
Yeah, that lap traffic being Robert Covey, who, of course, has jumped into the Pit Road Productions booth a couple of times in the most recent few weeks. A little bit of extra slipstream for Ryan Otto as the white flag flies for these guys. Clay Morris is about 4.5 seconds ahead of them at the moment and having to work his way through some lapped traffic as, oh, looks like Benvalid's had a spin ahead of these guys. They need to take avoiding action. Whoa, that was rather close. Benvalid getting out of the way just in time. He was in the middle of a very close pack of cars, including Rick Boyd, Tyler Manning, and Sebastian Day. Well, that's brought things closer here in the battle for seconds, Zippy.
Indeed it has, and I'm definitely going to be okay with that. We've seen the young lad here doing an absolutely fantastic job, certainly applying the pressure here. And if you watch the wheel, lots of little corrections, ladies and gentlemen. He's definitely, he's very much in tune with what the front of that car is doing. And the big thing about the Radical is he has a lot of aerodynamics here. Honestly, this chicane, I've never quite been able to get it right there. Ryan Otto taking a good push to the curb, as does Maya. But right now, I have a feeling the opportunity is about to unfold. This is where he needs to be very deep, very hard into the braking zone. He needs to get a good exit and try and make a slipstream heading down towards the final chicane. And that's exactly what's been presented. Or has he just been psyched as Ryan Otto now getting the exit? I have a feeling this is going to come down to blows in the final chicane.
I think Otto did that on purpose. He was going for the late apex to get the run and keep him behind. They'll be side by side into the final corner. Maya Dionorine's going to be as late on the brakes as he dares. Oh, he has a look up the inside, but not able to get it done. Up ahead, Clay Morris is going to take victory. And that is a fantastic drive from Clay. He found his way through the chaos on lap 1 and got it done. Otto and Dionorine are your podium, and there's more moves to be made. Alex Ellis up the inside of Cedric O'Hyan to get into 12th.
Yeah, Alex Ellis making a, definitely had a little bit of an unfortunate event, but considering he ended up at the back of the grid, ladies and gentlemen, he's managed to find his way up to P12. I think if he'd started at the back, I think he would have probably been the hard charger, but don't get me wrong, let's get the camera on Richard Hibbs very quickly. He has made it up 28 positions, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely incredible as he has indeed brought it across the line. And right there goes to Alex Ellis, looking to try and get one more near the line. An absolute pandemonium of cars, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe, oh my gosh, he got one more. He got Jesse Lambert by 51 thousandths of a second at the line.
Yeah, that's crazy. Incredible gaps to be had here at the end of the race at Montreal, as Diego Zuccarelli and Alex Tagliani rounding out your top 20 there. And, well, Tagliani certainly had an adventurous race, as did just about everybody here today. I'm sure that we're going to see plenty of close racing like that in the rounds to come, as the last few cars will make their way across the line. And well, I made a suggestion for move of the race, and it looks like we're in agreement. Rich Hibbs making his way up a astonishing 28 positions to finish P7. It was all about surviving the chaos of the first couple of laps. Turns 3 and 4 on lap 1 were the big difference maker, I think, for Rich. Being able to find your way through the chaos is certainly a skill worth talking about, being a racing driver. And well, you're going to see exactly what that looks like here for Rich Hibbs. This is a little bit after the specific incident I was talking about. Here we go. Have a look at this from Rich Hibbs. This is where things started for him. All right, I guess we're going to take a look at the entirety of lap 1, because starting down from 35th position, Zippy, he would have had to pick his way through a few cars, but I don't think he would have anticipated having to take avoiding action like this.
Yeah, certainly there was a lot going on in that first race, and honestly, it's cold tyres is a big part of it. You can see that car on the inside, the calls are going to be happening. Car on the inside, bumper on the outside, and indeed a matter of survival as you're going down absolutely hard on the gas, lifts up out of it. Interesting, able to get on the brakes.
Watch this.
Control. Go ahead, Reese. Carry on.
No, all I'm saying is watch this.
Fair play.
See, that is incredible there. That was a few more positions right there for Rich Hibbs, and though he was under a lot of pressure all the way through lap 1, he was making moves, he was picking his way, finding the gaps, and just balancing care and aggression there too. I mean, this was only the start of an incredible run up the field for Rich.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I do feel, I'm glad that it's your suggestion, not mine. Obviously, you got to show up with Rich Hibbs on Sunday there with the iRacing Control end of year enduro. But I've got to say, watching it back, absolutely. Definitely well earned.
For sure. Well, that was the springboard there for Rich Hibbs to make his way up 28 positions. We'll now go through our results for race number 2 here. Right on time for that. Rich Hibbs trying to sneak his way through the middle. Just incredible stuff. All right, let's go through our results then. So winning from P8, Clay Morris. Ryan Otto making his way up from 16th to 2nd. That's also an incredibly impressive recovery. And Maya Dionorine gets on the podium in only his 2nd race with us here at BiS Sim Leagues. Kenton Young and Jarrett Dunkovich round out your top 5. Then it's Cara Dudgeon in P6, another strong finish. Rich Hibbs with the most impressive run up through the field. Marshall Crocker Jr., Brady Clapham, and Jacob Batter will round out your top 10. And Kenton Young grabbing the AM win as well.
So have a look there. Alex Ellis able to recover up to P11 with Jesse Lambert taking 3rd place in amateur. Cedric O'Hine right behind him in 13th with JF LaRocque in 14th. Michael Broomhead very happy with himself with 28 spots gained in 15th. Maxime Armand, definitely the most fantastic outfit we've ever seen on the webcam, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in P16 with Mauricio Parada in 17th. Matt Gauthier is there in 18th with Diego Zuccarelli in 19th with the Royal Wave, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, Alex Tagliani, your former Indy pole sitter, in P20.
Yes, indeed. Mark Boyd, the front of a train of AM cars with Shrivastava, Blades, Sutherland, Hendricks, Manning, Day, and Covey, all the way from 21st to 28th. John Benvalid, a lap down, along with Andrew Hardman, our race 1 winner. That's not the turnaround that Hardman would have wanted, but certainly he'll be taking that forward.
So have a look there at P31. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Casamajor was there with Jonathan Picason right behind in 32nd. Chad Payton took 33rd with Tyler Scaralli in 34th. Rick Boyd in 35th with Sloan Sterling in 36th. John Painter took 37th with that beautiful new livery. With Asad Nakata, definitely the unluckiest driver we saw this evening in 38th with Yona or Albert in 39th, with Matthew Mailman rounding out your top 40. With the last few drivers, ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Gunest in 41st, with Zachary Buchanan in 42nd. Ian Carney took 43rd, and then Wyatt Cormier, and indeed, Ovidio Milos not taken to the grid.
No, certainly not. Well, it's time to have a chat to our successful drivers from today. Clay Morris going to be the first to join us here. Welcome, Clay. Certainly up the front the whole way through, but man, it was quite chaotic there at the start of race 2.
Yeah, I'm happy to have made it through that. I kind of got PTSD from last year where I got caught up in almost the same wreck in the feature for this race last year, but I got lucky and kind of parted the sea and it worked out, and then I just kind of had to drive a clean race, and yeah, it's a good way to get a first radical feature win.
Yeah, indeed. Fantastic job. And, well, the sprint race was almost similar success, but Montreal's slowdowns are infamously brutal, and going side by side through that final chicane is certainly brave.
Yeah, we had really great racing last couple of laps up until that chicane. I think it's very hard to see the braking references on the right side, and I think he just missed it by a few meters, sent it in a bit deep, but it's fine. He apologized pretty quickly, so no hard feelings, and it was great racing before that.
Yeah, indeed. It was still a very clean battle between the two of you, which is exactly what we like to see. Well, visiting the winner's rostrum in a feature race for the first time here, and up on the top step this season once more. It's going to be interesting to see what you can do to narrow the gap to Racine Fazui, who was not here today.
Yeah, it's bad to be happy about this, but him being away today kind of let me catch up a lot, and yeah, I think Alex having a bit of a rough race in the feature as well will help with the standing, so hoping to kind of make a comeback in the second half.
All right. Well, congratulations once again, Clay, and we'll see what you can do next round. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Reese.
All right, that is Clay Morris there, our feature winner. And Zippy, I understand you've had a chance to catch up to Ryan Otto.
All right, definitely a very potent driver indeed. Maybe a little bit on the aggressive side, but it's fair to say you managed to make it pay off here. Tell us a little bit about that move there, going incredibly deep in the final chicane. Now, I have a feeling that was definitely no accident. See, we think it was very strategic. Tell us a little bit about your strategy going into the final couple of laps.
Oh yeah, that where I went wide on the hairpin, that was most definitely planned. I knew since he was 3 tenths behind me that he was going to most definitely catch up to me and pass me, and there was nothing I could have done besides maybe defend the inside. But still, that's a little risky. So I weighed my options, thought that going wide and getting behind him would give me a better advantage, and I got a good run out of there as well, which most definitely helped me. I didn't completely clear him like I wished I did, but I went deep on the brakes to try and clear him and ended up doing it right as I entered the corner. And I'm surprised we didn't make contact. It was extremely close and extremely fun. I'd like to thank him for that.
Well, indeed, definitely some fantastic racing. But Ryan, it's been a good opportunity for you to score some points there. Certainly, we've seen some rivalry. What's going to be your biggest takeaway here from Montreal? What's going to be like the thing that you most learned and most want to feel you want to take to the next round?
I need to probably take it easier on lap 1 because I've so far spun twice this season on lap 1, and that's most definitely killing my results, and I need to fix that. So going to the next rounds, hopefully, or not hopefully, I will practice and get better at lap 1 cold tires because this is a setup I'm not used to. I'm used to driving the fixed setup in the radicals. So I'm going to get used to cold tires, get used to all of that. So next race at Monza, I won't spin again on lap 1 and be able to fight for the win on both the sprint and the feature.
Well, Ryan, that's definitely some very valid targets indeed. And I'm going to give you a piece of advice that my iRacing mentor gave me, Mr. C.R. Reed. Much older gentleman, much older. By all means, you can roast the guy for being old. Don't wrong, I've got a feeling his handwriting is in maybe written on a cave wall somewhere. But here, the biggest thing he taught me is low risk, high reward. And certainly at the start of the race, that can be absolutely crucial. But Ryan, I've got to say, congratulations there on a P2. Don't get me wrong, some fantastic battles with Maya as well. Thank you very much. And yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you in the interview booth again very shortly at Monza.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic job from him there, and we're going to bring Maya Dionorine in here for the moment. Well, Maya, you have plenty of real-world experience under your belt. The first time we've seen you here in the sim world, and you certainly came to play a 5th and a 3rd. Very respectable results.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good race, and I was actually really surprised because I didn't even realize I was in the championship till about 2 weeks ago when I saw the results. I'm like, oh darn. And I ended up doing practice for about half an hour because I was trying to get my livery set up. And I actually ended up doing really well. I bought the track probably 20 minutes before the race, started doing some practice, and ended up doing well. And everybody's really good in this championship. So it was a hard race.
Yeah, what was your view from behind the wheel? Because the fight, especially with Ryan Otto in race 2, was super tough, and in race 1, you were fighting around Jacob Batar and Jarrett Dunkovic as well. You certainly got a taste of what the competition's like here at BIS.
Exactly. Yeah, race 1 was pretty good. I didn't know what to really expect, and honestly, I was pushing almost as hard as I could to try and keep up with those guys. And then same thing in race 2, I saw Ryan catching, and I decided to just let him go. I think it was 4 laps to go, and not really hold him up, see if he could chase the leaders, because the leader had, I think, 7 lap cars in front of him. And last lap, he did the same thing to me. I thought I could hold it and stay in the draft of the guys in front, and we ended up, I think we were side by side for the whole straight, and then the last little bit going into the braking zone, I kind of backed out, and I had a lockup. I thought I was going to hit, but I didn't. So he did a really good job, and he's a good driver. So going into the next round, I'm going to have to do some more practice for these guys. They're really good.
Well, if you've got this kind of pace with only getting the track 20 minutes before practice, I shudder to think what pace you're going to be capable of when you have a bit more track time under the belt in the sim. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Maya. Appreciate you coming along, and hopefully we're get the opportunity to chat to you again soon. Great results today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Maya Dionaroon gets onto the podium in race number 2. Zippy, you've got Jesse Lambert from the AM class.
Well, Jesse, it's definitely a good day on the points haul for you. Able to get 3rd place in AM class. Tell us a little bit about how Montreal was for you. Or not.
All right.
Try again. Jesse, are you there? Jesse?
I think he's trying to sort out his mic, Zippy.
Hey guys.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Yeah,
Jesse,
sorry.
tell us.
My computer just totally crashed, so I had to improvise and go on my phone.
Attaboy. We like that kind of determination, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly Jesse Lambert able to get a 3rd place in the AM class, and indeed be able to make it to the interview booth. Definitely a little bit of battle scars there on the front of that car. Tell us a little bit about your conclusion for this race.
Yeah, thank you a lot, guys. I thought it was a really fun race, really cool to do a race that's so close to home. It's a really, I think out of the whole calendar, it's one of the hardest, maybe the hardest track. But I did a lot of practice this week with Racim, who unfortunately couldn't do the race. But thanks, Racim, we were pretty fast. And yeah, my first race went pretty well. I qualified 13th. Once again, did not get a great qualifying lap, but I made my way up to 7th. And I want to apologize for my start in the feature race. I came in a bit too hard in turn 1, a bit too ambitious. But I still drove my way back pretty well. I got behind Ryan, and I had really good pace, which was cool. I think I definitely showed an improvement from my other races. And unfortunately, after my pit stop, I came in too hard, and that freaking wall of champions just destroyed the front end of my car. So I drove the whole race nursing wheel damage, and I had the wheel basically turned 90 degrees to the left the whole race. So I'd also like to say sorry to anyone who I might have scared when I was driving behind them. But yeah, it was a great race, and I definitely think I improved.
Oh, definitely, indeed, Montreal does indeed take some prisoners, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Jesse Lambert finding that out the hard way. But you got to be honest, we're heading over to Monza for the next round. Now, that's definitely going to be a track where turn 1 could indeed get a little scary. And honestly, the biggest advice I would offer, and I just had the same chat with Ryan Otto here, is honestly, sometimes you got to go low risk, high reward. Don't get me wrong, there is opportunities at a race start, but tell us yourself how you're going to prepare for Monza.
Definitely gonna do some more practice with Racim, get good on pace, and hopefully, practice maximizing my qualifying sessions. That way I could hopefully start somewhere in the top 7. I think if you start top 7, top 8, there should be better chances of surviving turn 1. If you're starting mid-pack, you're seriously gonna have to pray and hope that you make the corner. But I think I really want to maximize my qualifying. have a good race.
Well, indeed, I gotta say it's a fantastic target, but by all means, you're gonna have a challenge ahead of you. The BIS field is absolutely incredible, ladies and gentlemen. The third place finish in the M class is Jesse Lambert.
Thank you very much, guys.
Good performance from Lambert here today, and believe we might have time for a couple more chats. We'll see which driver we've got coming in next. It's going to be Rich Hibbs, who was the one of the hardest of chargers here in the second race. Rich, my goodness, what a run up through the field. You got our move of the race for race 2 for your way picking your way through that chaos there on the first lap. That must have been stressful, at least.
Yeah, the first lap was absolutely stressful, to say the least. I was just trying to be patient and let it all kind of work its way out without getting run over like I did in the sprint. So I think it was a good recovery from where I was. So
yeah, you made up some really good pace as well. It would appear that the race pace certainly was much better than qualifying. You ultimately started race 1 in P17. Did you envision yourself finishing in the top 10 by the end of the night at that point?
to be honest, driving this car, I don't like it on high fuel. So the more fuel wears off, the faster I feel and more confident I get. So I feel like I can drive up through the field from 17th. I did it last season a few times as well, where you crack into the top 10 and try to get the reverse start so you can be on the front row. But yeah, tonight was, as soon as that third corner happened, and it was just like, okay, let's try to minimize the damage in the sprint by going back out after the repair, and hopefully in the sprint or in the future be able to drive my way up there. And I guess I did.
That you did indeed. Well, we'll see with the chaos that Montreal brought, how much chaos Monza Turn 1 is going to bring for next round, and whether or not you'll be able to pick your way through another potential pile-up. Obviously, we hope that doesn't happen, but Rich, if it does happen, you've certainly got experience. Thanks very much for joining us, and congratulations on your fantastic result.
Thank you.
Well, that's Rich Hibbs, and Zippy, I understand Cara Dudgeon has jumped in for a chat too.
Yeah, I just want to try and pick up the last interview. I've got to say, Cara, I knew that you were quick, but what an absolutely incredible amount of pace we saw from you today. Incredible qualifying. Tell us exactly how you've been preparing for these BIS events.
Well, since my last race didn't go very well, I decided to do some online racing, but is prep before to get my racecraft a bit better, because I was a little rusty from not being on the sim on my karting season, because just messes me up for karting. So yeah, I did that, and I did about an hour practice every single day, just get ready and see how I can get up there and improve constantly.
Well, certainly the pace was absolutely on point. A little bit of defense, but just in the nicest way possible. I do feel maybe a little bit more aggression to be had from the 305. Certainly, we know that you've got talent, and you've had the real life experience of getting to drive a real radical SR3 on that occasion. And indeed, it was so good you're looking to do it again. But we're going to be heading to Monza for the next round. Now, that's definitely a track that can take a few prisoners. How do you feel about that particular venue over on the Italian side of the pond?
Yeah, I really like Monza. Haven't done it in the Radical yet, but I did do some stuff in the F3 and F2 car before I joined this league, and really like the track. Corner one's a little hectic on the starts, though, so I'm just going to try to stay out of some trouble.
Yeah, it's definitely a good strategy. But ladies and gentlemen, Cara Dudgeon, absolutely fantastic race, and indeed the winner of the Radical Academy, which we saw here on Pit Road Productions last season. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to wish her the best of luck. But for now, Cara, thanks very much for popping in.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
All right, well,
after you, sir. After you.
No, after you. After you.
Okay, well, I gotta say, what an absolutely fantastic evening of racing here at Montreal, and indeed on Pit Road Productions. It's been a belter, and I gotta say, it's been a busy one, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, there's definitely been a few incidents. Clean up on aisle 5, 4 and maybe aisle 6 as well. Certainly it's been colourful at times, and I gotta say hats off to them, these Radicals. They're fantastic cars, but they are very demanding, especially on cold tyres indeed. But if you haven't subscribed already, ladies and gentlemen, hit the subscribe button on Pit Road Productions. If you haven't done that, please do. That'll help us. We're aiming for 1,000 by the end of the year. It's not looking good, so definitely tell your mum, dad, cousin, sister, wife, whoever. I don't mind. Any subscription's a good one in my book. But not only that, hit subscribe on FEL Motorsports as well. But I got to say, some fantastic racing reads, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what round we're going to get at Monza. Certainly turn 1. I think you're right on that one. I got a feeling there may be a little bit of skittles going on across the field.
Yeah, potentially, but this is a very capable field of drivers, and I'm sure they're going to give us a fantastic show once again in 2 weeks' time. Monza is a track where the slipstream is incredibly important. We're going to be seeing some real draft battles, and it might open up the strategy a little bit in race 2 as well, with a bit more capability of fuel saving. We'll have to see how it pans out.
Absolutely, certainly. We didn't see too much of it today, really, the fuel saving. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner, the Southpaw racer himself, and at the production controls, Mr. Christian Hill. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time for the BiS Radical Canada Cup with FEL Motorsports.